The notorious Unit 731 of Japan, known for its horrifying acts, took their research a step further during their occupation of Indonesia. They subjected captured prisoners of war to gruesome human experiments, culminating in a terrifying biological weapon. They even experimented on their own troops, hoping to create an unstoppable zombie soldier. Hidden on a small Indonesian island lay an abandoned mine shaft, the covert base for Unit 731's chilling experiments. Rumor has it that within this base, gold acquired from the local populace was also stored. After Japan's defeat in the war, the treasures were left forgotten within the mine shaft. Decades passed without any clue to its location. But 70 years later, a band of pirates chanced upon the island. One pirate stumbled upon the mine's entrance, only to be dragged deep underground by an unseen force. Soon, a wealthy young playboy heard of this. Greedy for the rumored treasures, he hired an armed squad to search for the mine on the island. After some searching, they located the mine entrance. But before they could explore further, they were ambushed by another armed group. Outnumbered and outpositioned, they retreated into the mine for cover. However, a grenade was hurled in, sealing the entrance and injuring one of their members. With no way out, the team ventured deeper, hoping to find another exit and possibly the treasure along the way. As they crossed a wooden bridge, the mine suddenly lit up, and a haunting melody echoed through the caverns. "Someone beat us to it," they wondered, alarmed yet hopeful. Stanley optimistically remarked, "Where there are people, there's an exit. We've no choice but to move forward." But unbeknownst to them, they'd entered a perilous realm. After the bridge, they arrived at a narrow corridor leading to a door. Inside were bizarre scientific instruments. Protective suits hanging on the wall startled the team leader so much that he fired a shot. In another room, they stumbled upon several photographs, proving that the Japanese army had conducted live experiments on captives here. However, the group dismissed it since the heinous acts of the Japanese forces were well known by now. However, the real terror began when they decided to rest in the communications room. Jadov, guarding the entrance, failed to notice a shadow behind him. By the time he turned around, the figure had vanished. Stanley, an experienced former British soldier, sensed that something was amiss. He realized this wasn't just a military fortress or some mythical treasury, but rather a research facility. Upon hearing Stanley's thoughts, Ree, a historian, decided to share her knowledge despite objections from the wealthy young man. She revealed that this mine was indeed a research base for Unit 731's biological weapons studies, the very reason she was there. The playboy had kept this a secret, fearing the mercenaries would abandon the mission if they knew the truth. Angered by the revelation, the team was shaken. Stanley was tempted to give the young man a piece of his mind, but they had no choice but to face their current situation. The captain decided to search for an exit with Jadov. The wealthy playboy, eager to find the treasure, went ahead with his girlfriend, leaving Stanley, Ree, and another mercenary to care for the injured member. Just as they left, the injured team member heard a strange noise. Struggling to his feet to investigate, he was horrified to realize it was coming from below. Before he could alert the others, a pair of hands pulled him under. By the time the trio arrived, he had vanished, with only a fleeting glimpse of an odd creature. Stanley urgently asked Ree about the creature, but she was clueless. While they were discussing, the anxious mercenary had already jumped in to save their teammate. With no choice, Stanley and Ree followed. The tight, twisting tunnels echoed with eerie screams. The pair soon found their injured friend's body but no sign of the mercenary. Stanley knew they had to get out quickly. But then, suddenly... Meanwhile, the mercenary was still chasing the creature through another tunnel when he was suddenly dragged into an underground cavern filled with bones. Among the remains was the unrecognizable body of the pirate they met at the beginning. As he shouted for his teammates, he was unaware that the creature was lurking close by. As the monster attempted a sneak attack, the quick-reflex mercenary managed to fight it off. Taking a closer look at the defeated creature, he was ambushed yet again. While he fended off this new threat, he lost his weapon and got injured in the eye. Things got worse when more monsters emerged from the shadows. Blinded and overwhelmed, the mercenary fired off shots in desperation. As the last bullet was spent, so was his life. Elsewhere, the captain and his team entered a massive lab. The documents on the desks detailed the horrific experiments of Unit 731. Human specimens on the shelves hinted at the terrifying events that had taken place. Oblivious to their surroundings, they didn't notice a steel door slowly sealing them inside. By the time they realized, it was too late to escape. Stanley and Ree, after being knocked out, woke up to the sight of a Japanese soldier in a gas mask. He was the one who had captured them. The soldier demanded to know their purpose there. Fortunately, Ree, being Japanese, managed to communicate with him. Spotting a brief moment of distraction, Stanley tackled the soldier. Removing the soldier's mask, Stanley was shocked by his ageless face. The soldier had been in this place for 70 years, unaware of Japan's defeat in World War II, until Ree showed him a video of Japan's surrender. As the soldier calmed down, Stanley and Ree learned the terrifying truth. The creatures outside were the results of early experiments on captives. Due to the imperfections of the early biovirus, these creatures had mutated into mindless killing machines. Later, the virus was refined, resulting in subjects with intelligence but reduced combat abilities. The soldier had been injected with this virus. However, the ambition didn't stop there. They combined both strains, creating an unstoppable army of undead soldiers. Elsewhere, the other members of the group were desperately looking for an exit when they were ambushed by another creature. The rich young man was instantly tackled, with a blade piercing his shoulder. The captain fired shots, but they seemed to have no effect. Just as the creature pinned the captain down, Jadov swiftly picked up an iron rod and delivered a fatal blow to it. After hastily bandaging the young man's wounds, they continued their search and stumbled upon another room. The mummified bodies hanging on the walls were a clear sign. This was where the captives were subjected to gruesome experiments. The sight was nothing short of horrifying. The rich young man made a startling discovery on a table, an unused vial of the biovirus, glistening with gold powder. He realized that the treasure he was seeking wasn't traditional gold but rather the formula for the biovirus itself. Initially disappointed, a remark from his girlfriend changed his perspective. If this concoction granted immortality, its value was undoubtedly beyond gold. As they were preparing to leave, he secretly had his girlfriend stash the vial. Soon after, the captain and Jadov managed to unlock a heavy steel door. But when it swung open, all they saw was darkness filled with an ominous presence. As the lights illuminated the scene, they were met with the sight of an organized army of samurai zombies, the Undead Legion created by Unit 731. The intrusion of the group had awoken this army, and they started advancing slowly. The captain tried shooting, but bullets did nothing. As a zombie samurai lunged at the captain with a sword, Jadov quickly pulled him back. However, as they retreated, Jadov was fatally stabbed. His sacrifice bought precious moments for the others to escape. Following an underground passageway, they ended up back in the narrow tunnel where they found the mutilated body of the mercenary. But before they could process the grim discovery, they were surrounded again by the relentless creatures. After another fierce struggle, the trio miraculously escaped and, by sheer luck, reunited with Stanley and Ree. However, the rich young man's condition was rapidly deteriorating from the earlier attack. In a desperate bid to save him, his girlfriend injected him with the stolen biovirus, believing it would rejuvenate him. But before they could assess the situation, they were once again pursued by the terrifying samurai zombie horde. The group ran in terror, but a soldier among them was quickly executed by the samurai, branded a traitor and killed on the spot. Even worse, these bloodthirsty monsters seemed to answer to these samurai, and upon having the seals on their heads removed, they became even more ferocious. It didn't take long for the creatures to catch up to the group and launch a fierce assault. The group's primary fighters were immediately overwhelmed. Ree bravely stepped in, wielding a rock, but the girlfriend took advantage of the chaos, fleeing with the rich young man and swiftly locking a steel door behind them. The trio, having barely fended off the creatures, found the door locked from the outside and had to seek an alternative route. The woman struggled to drag the rich young man through a tunnel and finally found an exit. But just as they were about to leave, the young man underwent a horrifying transformation, turning into a zombie. Devoid of any humanity, he immediately attacked and killed the woman. Meanwhile, the remaining three found themselves face to face with the samurai zombies. They sought refuge in a nearby room, but with the relentless pounding on the door, it was only a matter of time before they'd be breached. In the nick of time, Ree discovered a manhole cover leading to a possible escape route. In a heroic act of sacrifice, the captain decided to stay behind to buy them some time. As Stanley and Reed descended into the sewers, the samurai zombies finally broke in. The captain, ever the brave soul, charged at them but was quickly overpowered and killed. Stanley and Reed, navigating the sewer waters, managed to find an underwater exit. Just as they began their escape, the samurai zombies plunged in after them. Emerging from the water, Reed found herself on the edge of a lake, seemingly safe at last. But to her horror, it wasn't Stanley who surfaced next to her, but a fearsome samurai zombie. Exhausted and cornered, Reed had no choice but to face the undead warrior head-on. However, any attempts to fight back proved futile. Tragically, Reed couldn't escape her fate and was killed. As the waters around her stirred, more and more samurai zombies began to emerge from the depths.